What is up, guys? This is One from Cosmic Fury, and you're watching a review of Planet Hulk, issue number 1. What is up, everybody? So yeah, Planet Hulk has just been released, and we're gonna do a review on it. So I'm trying to get the guys together and like talk about like some of the tie-ins coming in for Secret Wars. So yeah, if that is a clue which Planet Hulk am I reviewing in this video, it is the tie-in to the Secret Wars. So this Planet Hulk issue number 1. So where exactly is the timeline for this? Secret Wars has been out for about like at least 2 issues in right now, and so the timeline is between that period of everything that has already escalated and is already in the Secret Wars event. So this is where part of the battle world, the Planet Hulk region resides in. So yeah, like on the cover itself, like Rashid actually told me about, like, because I prior to this I didn't really follow the Planet Hulk announcement. So Rashid told me that Captain America was involved in the story. So I'm a fan of Captain America. So hearing his name being in like involved in Planet Hulk makes me like really interested about it. And so seeing the cover of it, we see this giant ass fist of the Hulk, pummeling down, and then you see this guy trying to shield himself. That shield is a giveaway that probably that is Captain America. But then he doesn't look like how we know him. He looks like very Conan, like Conan the Barbarian kind of look, like very gladiator kind of thing. And besides holding his iconic shield, he's holding an axe. So that's a little bit different from what we are used to seeing Captain America. So yeah, like in this version of Planet Hulk, they, because every region of Battle World has their own, like like the region has a name to it. So again, before I go any further, there's gonna be a few spoilers, so spoiler alert. But if you're cool with it, then let's continue. So yeah, like I was saying, like in every region of the battle world, they have their own names and such. And for the ones that having all the Hulks in it, is called Greenland. I think in if you were to read Secret Wars, from the first issue to the second issue, like there are a few regions which they have introduced in the story, and they have their own names. And I don't know, the first impression I got that when I heard that the region the Hulks are in it is called the Greenland. It's probably the nicest, nicest and like the least threatening name you can hear in battle world kind of region. So so yeah, basically the this Greenland is a kind of like a wasteland. um, um, there's like gamma radiation and covering the entire place. So yeah, pretty much the Greenland name doesn't really show a threatening, like a region. Like if you were to hear it, like, oh, it's probably like a getaway country. But but it's exactly totally the opposite of what it is. So yeah, it's the creative team that goes into this. You got like guys like Sam Humphries, and like Greg Pak, then a bunch of other guys doing the stuff. And so yeah, the issue number 1, it's separated into two sections. You got the main storyline, and then there's the origin story at the end of it. And it's for these two sections, it's done by 2 writers. So basically, so Sam Humphries is doing the main one, and then Greg Pak is doing the origin story, which is at the back. All right, so let's move on to the pacing. I want to start off with the pacing itself. the pacing seems kind of like I would say it's kind of a little bit of hectic. It goes into the scene of like like Captain America. Uh, well, is it the before we go into the Captain America part, because it's a transitional pacing. First, it starts off in the Greenland, where there's like they show you a map of like how the segregation of Greenland and stuff. You got the like the mudlands, the Fang Mountains, like She-Hulk Shore. I don't know. And so yeah, it started off with this bunch of Hulks who seems to be operating in a very like clan-like manner, and they are out there in the Mud Kingdom. They're out there to just cause a bunch of ruckus. They're like very anti Tor Corps, because the Tor Corps is basically directly so-called the police force for Doctor Doom in Secret Wars. So they are very anti Tor Corps, and every time they get a chance to see a Tor Corps patrolling, they will just like cause a ruckus. And like in one instances, they just get ready this catapult and just shoot a ball of fire and dung onto the Toko who's flying around. I think probably again doing some patrol and stuff. And the next thing I find it interesting is that one of the panels shows this patrolling Toko was I think about like five guys in it. One guy was like wearing this helmet that look like like Magneto, you know. Not really sure. They didn't really emphasize the names of this currently patrolling Toko, but one guy was wearing a helmet that really looks like Magneto. So it doesn't really explain if that is Magneto. And there was this lady was wearing this Angela style helmet, but doesn't really explain if that is Angela or if that is Lady Sif. Because as far as I know, Angela has been announced in kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of tie into the Secret War. So I'm not really sure if that is the same character. Then there was this guy wearing a helmet that has horns that looks like Loki, but doesn't really explain if that is Loki. But it is established in the A Force issue number 1 that there is a Loki, but it's not exactly the male version of Loki, but it's a female version of Loki. So that kind of thing. So there are certain similarities. If you see that panel, that hey, these guys look familiar, but are they the people that we know? So yeah. And what else? So yeah, there's a lot of Hulks in that clan. You got a gray color Hulk, you got a green color Hulk, you got a female Hulk, and you have a red Hulk. You might think they are familiar, to like maybe some of the established Hulk characters, like the Red Hulk and stuff, but they're not. They're just a bunch of Hulks, random Hulks. The entire scape is crowded with Hulks. So yeah, the catapult has been shot and it eventually hits the Toko patrolling, and they obviously retaliate back. But so that's about it. That shows a little glimpse of the everyday life of a clan, probably a small clan, in Greenland. For they're very tribal. It's like a Planet Hulk infested with Planet Hulk with a bunch of Hulks, but very primitive kind of like a lifestyle. So it shows a little glimpse of that. And okay, moving along to Captain America. So it moves into a scene called the Coliseum, kind of like a Coliseum, but they call it a Coliseum. And we see Captain America battling out, and he basically wants this gladiator kind of competition. I think it's like 12 levels of fighting, and he won. And there was one panel which shows that the Wolverine clan has been defeated. I was like, if you were ever to see the death of Wolverine, that he is, there are assumptions either he's encased in adamantium and dies, or maybe just encased in adamantium and stays that way. Basically, the series has just ended. Wolverine, the character itself, is still dead. But the moment I see that, it's like the clan of Wolverines, he's still there. you know, there was one guy who's been knocked out and he has that Wolverine sideburn. So basically, there's is a clan of Wolverines. So he is there, but doesn't really say that he's like, you know, on site doing anything. So yeah, Captain America won that competition, and then this, then you just have to realize that Captain America looks really badass, and he is accompanied by the red, no, the devil dinosaur, this big ass red T-Rex. So I don't know how more badass you can make Captain America. You know, he and he with a shield and that battle axe, and you know, looking like a Conan like warrior, and riding a big ass red color T-Rex. You know, how badass can you get? You know, the Captain America, he's a boy scout, and to actually make him that like that rough, it's a really different take. um so yeah, and so he won the competition, and the guy organizing is Arcade. And if you're familiar with the X series, right, X-Men, X Factor, you know, that kind of stuff, Arcade is one of those villains where he tends to test a lot of the capabilities of the superheroes just for kicks, and he's involved in that competition. So Captain America won, and but actually he has a plan in mind, and as soon as he's in the proximity of Arcade, because he's very intent on finding where is Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and so once he grabs Arcade, he just throws himself and Arcade into the mouth of um, the Devil Dinosaur. So basically, they're inside the mouth of Devil Dinosaur, and Captain America tries to interrogate Arcade on trying to get the information where Bucky Barnes is, and right at that moment, yeah, Captain America was transported in front of Doctor Doom and Sheriff Strange, who is also Doctor Strange. And by reading Secret Wars so far, and A Force, I would really say that Sheriff Strange is he has a stick up his ass. He is very stiff, and his will and orders is what Doom tells him to do, and he doesn't really want to change. And I don't know, it makes me feel that Sheriff Strange is so much of a douche, is so uptight. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't like really change his decision. And once he makes a decision, and is that's it. And he's really stiff. And Doom's words are law. So, so yeah, I don't know. Like, it makes Doctor Strange feel like a douche, but he's doing what Doom's will basically. And so they have information of where Bucky Barnes is, and the person they chose is obviously Captain America, because they know Captain America knows Bucky Barnes, and Captain America needs to find, or wants, desires to find Bucky Barnes for some reason. And during that moment when he was thinking of Bucky Barnes, there was a slight flashback in time, in memory of Captain America, where it shows that they were in some kind of like a war zone, and you see a very familiar costume of the Winter Soldier, and a little bit modernized. I would say the first Avenger type of costume, Captain America. They were on a war zone, and it was very modernized. So in that panel, when I saw like that modern version of them, and then when I look back at the Conan version, the warrior version or gladiator version of Captain America, it makes me wonder, like, how long has this battle world has been around? You know, like how many years or decades has it been for that modernized look, and then to be reverted back into a very like Stone Age kind of like a gladiator kind of moment. It's like some like basically the modern age. Something happened, and then they just went back to the Stone Age. So old school. So that is one of the moments where, you know, the comic doesn't really explain itself. It just makes you wonder. Maybe have to like be in a few issues down the road to like, for them to actually explain it, but we really can't say if they were actually able to do that. And so yeah, moving along, So Captain America will only do in one condition, that he needs to get his partner back, which is the Devil Dinosaur, because these two are a pair basically in the issue. So Sheriff Strange does his magic, and then both of them are teleported to Greenland basically. Right off the bat, Sheriff Strange tells Captain America that you need to find our operative who's operating in the Greenland, for you to find Bucky Barnes. So they are already transported in Greenland, and what happens is that right off the bat, when they land, or magically transported into the Greenland, they get attacked by this kind of like this earthworms, who obviously gamma radiated, so they're kind of huge and very monster like. So they just come off the ground and start attacking Captain America, and even as big as the Devil Dinosaur, giant ass T-Rex, is also been pinned down by a dozen of these gamma radiated worms coming from the ground, and basically they are overwhelmed. They're like really overwhelmed. There's nothing that Captain America can do to escape this. So right at that moment, there was like this like giant blast that went off and killing every worm that is on site. And the next panel shows is that there was this version of a Hulk. So basically, the operative is actually a Hulk, but the story just ends there. It doesn't really explain that which version of this Hulk. He is green, so um, the main assumption I had was that this is probably Bruce Banner Hulk, and that made even more an interesting notion is that the Greenland is a massive place where all the Hulks are in it, and then you have Bruce Banner who's not part of that, and it's even more interesting that this version of Hulk, the operative of Doctor Doom, is wearing this some kind of like very this techno giant cannon on his chest, who's like makes it look as though he's like this arc cannon blowing from this canister kind of thing. So yeah, so basically he saves Captain America. Doesn't really explain if that is Bruce Banner or somebody else. So yeah, the story ends there. So moving from the ending of the main story, there is also um, the origin, the backstory of how the Greenland came to be, or how Planet Hulk came to be, which is written by Greg Pak. And again, it's like it doesn't really show like how many years or how long has this been around. Before Greenland was in its current state, being in a stone age and stuff, it was a pretty modern and very current world where everything is what we know in the Marvel comic. Like everything is normal, everybody is human and everybody is normal. And there was an event that happened that the entire area was attacked by AIM, essentially, because they hijacked and basically stole a lot of gamma bombs, and they went an offensive on Greenland basically. And I can't remember the kid's name. He was basically an assistant to Bruce Banner, and he tried to save basically the city, I suppose. And in attempts to do that, he did manage to like save the people, but in by doing so, the bombs kind of like exploded on its own, but then releasing gamma gas onto the people. The people were safe, but the result of that, they turned green, and eventually everybody turned into a version of Hulk, male, female, everybody. So that's how, kind of like a backstory of like how the planet Hulk came to be. So the backstory is kind of short. It's kind of like just a snippet of how the world came to be, but still doesn't explain like how long Greenland or Planet Hulk has been around in this battle world version in Secret War. So yeah, the pacing for it, I would say, I don't know. The pacing is okay. The transition it's okay. It's decent. Like it's not. Um, the pacing is pretty much ties heavily, I think, on Captain America, because he's the one that's bringing the story forward, instead of the Hulks, but it's basically centralized on Captain America. So he's the one that's bringing the pace forward, and he's the, I would say, the reason that's, I would, okay, it's not really the reason, but he's the guy that has an intention. He has the one with the mission to do stuff. Basically, doesn't revolve on Hulk. You know, it revolves on one, Red King Hulk, where Captain America has to actually kill by the order of Doom. And besides that, it doesn't really explain the other Hulks, because they are quite irrelevant other than being in Greenland. So the pacing wise is okay. There's the transitions are basic. For the drawing, the artwork, it's okay. It's accessible. It's not too dirty or anything. Um, so for the storyline, I would say it's okay. I would say that I do need to give it another few more reads to keep me interested. So far, issue number one, it's basic. Because I'm a fan of Captain America, so I want to see how exactly he develops in the stories. I hope he doesn't die, because it will suck if Captain America dies early in Planet Hulk. So, but then again, no, there are instances where like Captain America probably knows like what exactly like Doom is basically God in Secret Wars, and it doesn't phantom him. Like if Captain America had a chance to like release himself from the chains he was grounded to, he would probably just smack everybody around and doesn't care. So again, that's Captain America. Doesn't really give a shit. If he was hands free, he would smack everybody. So yeah, being a fan of Captain America, that was like really awesome scene. If that would happen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to how Captain America develops in Planet Hulk. Right now on Comixology, you can get it for $4.99 USD. So I would probably recommend it. It's a tie-in to the Secret Wars. If you're into a very alternative version of Hulks, this will probably be for you. And if you're into the tie-ins, this would probably be for you. If you're a fan of a very Conan-like Captain America, this is somebody you should check it out. So yeah, I'd probably recommend it, but it's not like highly recommend. So far the tie-ins I've read so far for Secret Wars hasn't like got me really excited, but this one it's okay. So yeah, pretty much that's all I gotta say in this review for Planet Hulk issue number one, which is released quite recently, and it's a 2015 version. It's a tie-in for Secret Wars. So basically, this is what I have so far. Hopefully, I can get together with the guys and talk more on the Secret Wars and the whole shebang of it. So yeah, I'm one from Cosmic Fury, and like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.